far away. Nice one. I can't hear you, by the way. One sec. You'll be able to speak 1 second. We're a minute to titles, then I'll cue you when to start. Opening titles in 30 seconds. 20. Titles in 10,
Heavy away defeats in Sheffield, Cardiff and Norwich haven't yet put off the Green Army. 3,000 of them are on their way to Bristol and hope that Argyle's fortunes will change and that today could be the day for that elusive away win. An improvement is needed, that is for sure. Tough questions have been asked, a bit of soul searching from the players and staff. But today is a chance for redemption. All of the action coming your way here on Argyle TV. You will not miss a thing. Hello, good afternoon. I'm Alex Wood. This is the pre-match show here, Matchday Live on Argyle TV. Of course, it's been a tough few days for Wayne Rooney and co. A heavy defeat in midweek to Norwich leaves them just 2 points above the drop zone going into this afternoon's game. Bristol City, meanwhile, are 5 points off the playoffs, but haven't won at home at Ashton Gate since September. It has all the ingredients for an intriguing fixture of Championship football. Match passes, of course, if you haven't already purchased one here today, both audio and video streaming are available. Just head on over to the website right now where you can purchase those, pafc.co.uk for all of the details. But joining me for the next couple of hours is 1995 Argyle Player of the Season, Mark Edworthy. Mark, welcome to the show.
Where on earth did you drag that up? It's always nice to hear that. It seems, yeah, a long time ago, but obviously great memories on that, of course.
Absolutely. But, okay, different situation for this team today. Different crop of players, of course. Very different set of circumstances. But this is a big occasion for Wayne Rooney and the players, particularly after midweek.
Yeah, it certainly is. I think both teams obviously defeated in midweek and really want to bounce back, and especially for Argyle after that heavy 6-1 defeat away to Norwich. So they got something to prove. I'm sure when they go there to put things right. The good thing about the Championship is you get time to put things right very quickly. The games come thick and fast, as we both know, especially coming into this hectic festive period. So a win today will be fantastic and hopefully boost confidence for Argyle this afternoon.
Absolutely. I mean, it's always the age-old question, really. But after a result like it was in midweek, do you think it's almost the perfect antidote, really, to go away from home and to put that right at Ashton Gate?
Yeah, we've spoke about it previously that they've digested the game, they've had to look through it and analyse that. Obviously, Wayne really clearly wasn't happy with the performance. No. He wants to put that right. I'd be interested to see what selection he goes with this afternoon. And players will have to put in a performance this afternoon for sure.
Because it won't necessarily just be the result, of course, that matters, but a performance for the fans. I think after the scoreline that we had at Norwich, that would be an improvement, even if they came away with a point. Would you agree?
Yeah, totally. I think it's a long way to go, Norwich. Been there myself. I know the journey's a long one, back down on the 38 and M5, and people would have got back early hours in the morning. I think Wayne Rooney reflected on that, and he really felt for the fans and almost apologise for them. And today, as you already said, I know it's a bit of a local derby, if you want to call it, at Bristol City. We took 3,000 away fans, fantastic support. I think we've got to give credit to the football club and our away supporters, and hopefully Wayne will want to put a show on them this afternoon for sure.
Absolutely. Well, perhaps we can take a look at the teams as you suggested. There might well be some changes. We can actually bring you the lineups here, starting of course with the Pilgrims, and Wayne Rooney has rung the changes, 6 of them in fact. Of course, Daniel Grimshaw retains his place in goal, but in front of him, as fans will be able to see there, Lewis Gibson returns to Argyle's defence. He's alongside Pleguezuelo, Victor Poulsen and Nathaniel Ogbeta, who makes his first start since the away defeat at Leeds. Could be a back five. We'll sort of decipher that in a moment. But elsewhere in midfield, Jordan Houghton starts his first since the game against Portsmouth. He captains the side today. He's alongside Adam Forshaw and Adam Randall there, as you can see in the centre of the park. And up front, Argyle fans will be delighted to see the return of Ryan Hardy, who of course has been missing recently through injury. He's alongside 18-year-old Freddie Asaka. So you can see there 6 changes in total for the Pilgrims this afternoon. Your thoughts, Mark?
Yeah, I think the changes. Wayne had to really ring out the change after that heavy defeat. He's gone with a lot of experience in midfield. As you see, packing the midfield, a 5 in midfield, and obviously looking to probably go a bit more direct this afternoon with Freddie Asaka and Ryan Hardy up front. Unbelievable amount of pace between them two. Freddie's burst onto the scene, great pace, and is still learning his trade, but he's a real threatening, exciting one for the future. And we all know about Ryan Hardy getting in behind. He can stretch the opposition with his pace, and great to see him back in an Argyle shirt, fitting well again, and we know he can score goals as well.
And do you think the introduction of those two, obviously not played together to our mind, or
no,
started,
they haven't.
But could that be an intriguing dynamic?
I think it could be. I think Wayne's got a great opportunity selection-wise, striker-wise. It's always difficult. What's your best partnership? And he's probably still working that out. But he's gone for real raw pace there this afternoon. Impact the midfield, probably away from home, especially damage limitations, especially after midweek against Norwich. But experience in there. Gibson coming back into the back four, which is great with his experience. We've missed him, his leadership qualities, and packing that midfield out with Houghton back in as well, and Forshaw. So some experience in that midfield as well.
And just sticking with the sort of attacking sort of part of the pitch, as it were, with Asaka and Hardy, do you think that gives an opportunity for Argyle to be more direct in their style of play? Of course, they've tried to implement that passing out from the back and building up almost patiently. We've seen that here work at Home Park, but away from home, it's a different proposition. But with those two, do you think we can maybe see Argyle attack with more speed, certainly with the runs in behind?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of teams now is almost like copycat, isn't it? They do all the training sessions and the formations, and very much they do sort of build from the back and progress through the thirds, and at times it works, and at times it can, you can come a cropper and concede goals from it. So I think now conceding goals away from home, perhaps they're going to go a bit more direct, and with that pace up front, they certainly can turn the opposition because they got real pace with Asaka and Hardy up there.
Certainly one to keep an eye on
for sure.
But let's take a look, shall we, at how Bristol City will line up for this one this afternoon. Just the one change actually from their midweek defeat away at Watford. As you can see there, Max O'Leary starts in goal. The Robins have had an issue at right back in recent weeks, but we can see what looks like Zach Viner will be deputising in that particular slot alongside Rob Dickey, Luke McNally and Cam Pring at the heart of their defence. In midfield, it could well be Max Bird and Jason Knight in a sort of double pivot for the Robins and perhaps further forward up the pitch. Scott Twine is the change. He replaces Mark McGuane in midfield, and he's joined alongside Anis Mehmeti and the Japanese international Yu Hirakawa. And up front, it is the main man for City at this moment in time, Nahki Wells, making his 400th championship appearance. A player of real pedigree. May well be a nuisance this afternoon, but that's how the Robins will line up for this one this afternoon. And just on them, in terms of recent performances, we can see here Nahki Wells, turning up for City with his goals. A player perhaps that wasn't expected to start as many games as he is at 34. But you can see his quality. Yeah,
certainly. He's very, very busy. Gets himself in good positions. Got great pace, and certainly got an eye for goal. We see some of his footage here, and a great headed goal there, and he gets himself in the right areas. He's not always going to start every week, but when he does, and he gets that opportunity, obviously City's top scorer, and certainly the Argyle's defence have got to be, keep a close eye on him this afternoon because he's a real threat. And to see him starting just goes to show that the manager trusts him and relies on him.
Yeah, absolutely. And what do you know about Scott Twine? Of course, a player that may well haunt some of the Argyle fans, given his playoff performance from a few seasons ago when he was with MK Dons. He's been at Burnley, didn't quite work out there. He's now at City, had a recent injury, but he's back in the lineup today. Yeah,
he's a real threat, and I think just got to be careful anybody you're playing against. Look at that formation; they're very tight, they're organised. The 3-4-3 formation, very difficult to get through, and they don't concede many goals. They haven't scored many goals either. I mean, They lost to Watford midweek and then lost at home to Burnley. So they are very close-knit, they are very tight and very difficult to break through. So perhaps the pace of Freddie, Zach and Ryan Hardy can turn them today. But, with Jason Otter, I know well, with Max Bird in there, good players as well who will create things. So it's going to be an interesting game this afternoon. Looking forward to it.
But given City's recent form, this could be an opportunity for Argyle today. Given this is a team that does struggle on the road, but from a City point of view, they haven't won at home since September. So this could be, well, we hope an intriguing match and an entertaining one. But actually, if you looked at it on paper, this could be where Argyle pick up the points when they're away.
It certainly could be, and I think that's where Wayne's looked at it with his selection this afternoon, bring out 6 changes. I think he had to make some changes, but he seeks an opportunity here that this could be there for the taking. It could be 3 points this afternoon and get that sort of tag off their back about not winning away from home. They sit in 12th position, Bristol City. As you said, don't score a lot of goals, don't concede a lot of goals. And that's where the Championship is relentless. It really is. There's no easy game, home and away. And there's narrow points. I think Argyle have got sort of 6 out of 18 in their last games, and Bristol City have got 7 points out of their 18. So it's so narrow margins in this league.
Well, I want to ask you as well about the return of Lewis Gibson. Of course, he alongside Ryan Hardy, they were sort of near enough, but not quite ready for Norwich. They are back in the starting lineup today, but Argyle have conceded goals this season. In fact, they unfortunately have that worst record for goals conceded. Rooney will obviously want to improve upon that. Gibson's back in there today. How much of a difference will he make for us?
Yeah, huge. I think he balanced up with his left-sided player as well, so it does balance up the back 3 or back 5, whichever way they sort of fall back into formation-wise. And having him fit is a massive boost for Wayne. He's probably one of the first defenders on the team sheet, and with Ryan Hardy coming back, both obviously passing fitness tests, and they're assets to the football club. Rooney knows they've got something to offer, so I think they'll be delighted to get back, and especially Gibson back there, especially the way we have conceding goals. With his organisation skills and especially his experience, it is a big plus for Argyle.
Absolutely, and hopefully can shore them up. When they have conceded away from home, it's not necessarily made pleasant reading when you look at the Sheffield Wednesday result. Obviously Cardiff as well, and then in midweek. So an experienced head could perhaps shore that up.
Yeah, definitely. I think on reflection, the players have got to look at themselves at times. I know Rooney's the main man, and he obviously picks the team, but sometimes players have to take responsibility, and they know that. I've been in that position where we've lost games. You've got to dust yourself down and go on and make sure you lead by example and prepare properly. And this is another game where Argyle can't afford to keep conceding too many goals like that. We talked about heavy defeat in midweek in Sheffield Wednesday and Cardiff. That's too many goals going in, and that's something that's certainly got to be addressed.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Wayne Rooney certainly didn't hold back in his post-match comments following the defeat away at Norwich. Clearly wants to see an improvement today and a performance for those fans that are travelling. Here's what he had to say.
It's so bunched in that league. It's not as if we're an outlier at the bottom and everything's going going really, really badly, is it? There is, and you've mentioned it, there's so many positives that have come from this season. Is it also about just trying to remind players of that? And yourself?
Yeah, no, I think, maybe? Yeah, no, I know. You know, of course, you have a lot of people talk after you have results and bad results, but from my point of view, I know where we're at, I know where we're trying to be, and as I said, there are a lot of positives from the season, and the difficult thing is when you obviously have a performance and result like we've just had, that gets highlighted, and of course, and rightly so, because you know, that's not the standards I set or the expectations of this club, and but we have to remind ourselves, you know, if we win Saturday, you know, we're back on track, and so from our point of view, this game on Saturday is, of course, it's a big game, it's a local game, and if we can go there and get 3 points and try and get rid of this this away form tag, which we have to try and improve. If we can start on Saturday, then I think we're right back on track and in a good place.
Yeah. On that then, how are we going into it? How are we looking maybe going into that game against a Bristol City side who, you know, they've had a pretty decent start to this season, haven't they?
Yeah, I think you know, it'll be similar, well, same group of players really, and we'll do fitness checks on Ryan Hardy and Lewis Gibson tomorrow. So I'm hoping to have them two available as well. But other than that, no other players. But yeah, we know it's going to be a tough game. As you know, as bad as our away form has been, Bristol's home form hasn't been great as well. So it could lead to an interesting game, and we have to go there and really get rid of the game on Tuesday night and try and put a positive performance in and get a positive result. And if we do that, then, you know, I think we're, as I said before, we are really back on track.
Yeah, Wayne Rooney speaking to Charlie there in midweek after the result. He's pretty honest actually in his sort of assessment. What did you make of some of his comments there following the result?
Yeah, I think it's very easy to sort of jump on the bandwagon, isn't it? We've lost 6-1, we've lost to Sheffield Wednesday, we've lost to Cardiff. I mean, look at the passion he showed when he was playing, in the belief. He just wants the players to sort of follow suit. He knows they got to address the away situation, but as he rightly said, and Charlie commented on as well, there's been some really great performances this season. Especially at home, and the way they've been playing with the tempo and the quality, it's been brilliant to watch. And he's probably scratching his head, probably thinking, you know, we can do it at home park. What happens when we do go on the road? And he's trying to work that out and solve that problem, because as I said, some of the performances this season have been really good, and he wants to address that. I
thought it was interesting. He stopped short of calling it an away curse, didn't he? Sort of
a
tag. Quite rightly, I guess, you know.
Yeah, I think he's just frustrated. You know, I've been to many games at home this season, and you know, the Sunderland game, the Blackburn game, you know, the Watford game, if you want to call it, the Portsmouth game. The list goes on and on. There's just some brilliant performances, and we've beaten some really big teams, you know, former Premier League sides, and he's probably thinking, why can't we take that on the road with us? What's missing? And he's got to find that out. That's where managers get paid their money to do, and the experience, and he's got to pick the right players, and he obviously is the right man to solve that problem.
Absolutely. And do you think it makes much difference the fact that this is technically the closest away trip for us as a team and for a fan base? You know, 3,200, I think, are making the trip. Yeah,
brilliant away fan. Yeah.
You know, does that make, obviously for the fans, it's a much more appealing trip away.
Yeah, of course it is.
But you know, the whole excuse of the travel that we often have to do, that doesn't really apply in a game like today.
It doesn't. No, I think on reflection as well, you know, he wants a reaction from the midweek game against Norwich. And yeah, it is closer. It's closer for the fans, which is a great, you know, brilliant support. And I think we've got to, you know, compliment the away fans at the football club, because you know they do cover some miles themselves. So great credit to them. So hopefully that 3,000 plus fans this afternoon will lift the side, give the team a real boost, and hopefully we can get that elusive 3 points on the road.
Fingers crossed, absolutely. Well, that was Wayne Rooney speaking to Charlie Price. Let's hear now from the Bristol City manager, Liam Manning, who's seen his side lose back-to-back games following the international break. Here are his thoughts ahead of this one.
Plymouth on Saturday. It's probably not a good thing, is it, that you come to Ashton Gate having lost 6-1 in the week?
Yeah, naturally, everyone's going to think that we should do the same, and that they're in a. But for me, Championship football, my approach doesn't change. Bore people with it, but truly believe in it. I think we've seen it as well how tight the margins are. You know, that happens, but before that they got a good point against Watford, and before that they've picked up some decent points against other high level opposition. So for me it's one of those, we can't control expectation externally. What we can do is control where our heads are at, and we know it'll be a tough game. We know we have to do the prep work, we have to be in the best place possible to go out and build on so many positives from the last few performances.
You've got Wayne Rooney in the opposition dugout. By the sounds of it, speaking to some of the guys down in Devon, he's all in, showing lots of passion and commitment to the cause. It's a job he probably didn't have to take, but he wanted the job in the summer. What's a Wayne Rooney Plymouth look like at Ashley Gate on Saturday?
Yeah, I think in terms of when you look at it, I think they've performed well in certain games, and I'm sure he's probably disappointed with their performance level, which he's put out there in other games. I think we have to prepare for them being at their best. And I think when you look at it, they've got some threats, got some decent players. I think they've got quite a clear way of what they're trying to do, and it's on us now to make sure that we stop that and we try and impose the game with our strengths and our qualities.
Team news. How are the squad looking for the weekend?
Good. Everyone came through the game the other night. Okay. Twiney's minutes are building up, so he's in a much better place as well. So yeah, they're rightly so chomping to get going. I think that's the biggest bit. Is, like I said, we're coming into such a heavy period. It can be a real strength for us now if we respond in the right way and keep on that even keel between games, and like I said, not get too high or too low, and just make sure that when we get into the next one that we're all in again.
Liam Manning there, the Bristol City head coach, speaking ahead of today's fixture. Bristol City, Aaron on Argyle Breakfast described them the epitome of a mid-table side. They've been in the Championship, I think, the joint longest of any team, always pushing for that sort of playoff spot, but it's proved somewhat elusive. What do you make of them, and what do you expect to see from them today? Yeah,
they're good on the eye, and they're hard to play against. As I say, they sit in a comfortable position at the moment. Obviously, Liam will be disappointed with midweek. He wants something on the show this afternoon to give his home fans a lift, and rightly so. They don't concede many goals, so they are very organised, and that's something that Wayne Rooney's team is going to have to break down this afternoon. But also, he needs to find that winning formula at home as well, because they haven't been great at home. No. So he's working out, and he's probably looking at his best side, especially going into this festive period, which we know is a lot of games in a short period of time. But all he'll be focusing on today is the Argyle game, and hopefully putting 3 points on the board for his team.
Absolutely. And just in terms of what we can expect from the way that City like to play, we talked about their issues scoring goals, but they progress the ball quite well, and that is something obviously Argyle will have to factor in when we set up for the fixture today and how we start this game in particular. Yeah, I think Argyle have got to be hard to beat. I think at times probably they've been too open away from home, and that's something, especially away from home, keep the crowd quiet. And especially we might have a counter-attack opportunity, especially with Freddie Izaka and Ryan Hardy there. So perhaps he's going to go, pack the midfield, play hard to beat, and then hopefully count them on the counter-attack and use that pace of Freddie and Ryan to go on to win the game. And do you expect to see some goals in this one today? I think there will be goals. Yeah, I think there's always goals when Argyle involved, but hopefully it's not in our net this afternoon, and we can, certainly. I think it's set up for a good game. Both teams have lost midweek. Both teams need results, so hopefully that's the ingredients for a good afternoon of football. Absolutely. And does the closeness geographically make this, I loathe to describe it as a derby, given there are teams closer to us, who we won't necessarily name here and now, but Bristol City being a shorter trip, does that add any extra sort of intrigue, maybe even from a fan's perspective for this one? I think so. I think it's more enjoyable for the fans as well, and it's closer to home as well, so they get home at a decent hour, which is always nice for them. But yeah, Bristol City, we talk about obviously Exeter probably in Portsmouth, a lot of sides around us, who are close in vicinity, but it's not too far up the A38 M5, and this will be classed as almost like a bit of a derby game, and I'm sure hopefully the passion will show at Argyle today to prove that. Absolutely, right. Looking forward to it. You'll be back with us, of course, for half-time and full-time, but that is pretty much time for us here on the Matchday Live pre-match show here on Argyle TV. We're pretty much ready to go. And a reminder, if you haven't already, match passes are still available to buy for this game. So if you're not one of the 3,200 who've made that short trip up the M5, you can get one of those now. Just head over to the website. But Charlie Price and John Bez Wetherick are standing by for commentary on this one. It is Bristol City versus Plymouth Argyle live next.